Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, let's talk about signs that your avoidant breakup isn't permanent. This happens sometimes, and I think it's important. It was requested a lot. A lot of you guys are wondering, is my partner going to come back? When are they going to come back? Why does it feel like it's not over? Why does it feel like it's not the end? Or we've been doing this for so many years, we've been off and on. So what's happening? How do you know a breakup is permanent versus that it isn't? Today, we're going to talk about signs that it's not permanent. And the very first one is the connection ended suddenly and emotionally, not logically. When an avoidant really wants to break up with you, it's not going to happen in the middle of an argument or during an emotional moment or when they're feeling depressed or when they lost their job, right? It's going to happen over a long course of time of them processing it and thinking about it. Think about it. Avoidance takes so long to even pick the car they're going to drive, the tire they're going to purchase, the type of oil they're going to put in their car, like what brand, whatever it is. Maybe they're at that certain mileage where you can kind of be a little bit more flexible about it. And so they're taking a really long time with that decision. Who does this in their house? Who does certain chores? Very, very specific, and they take so much time. So why then wouldn't they do that if they had an actual logical breakup? They would. And so if they broke up suddenly and emotionally, that's not the genuine breakup, typically. If a breakup happens in the middle of an argument or during an emotional moment, often this decision wasn't fully thought through. And emotionally driven breakups are often the most commonly reversed. I see couples break up in session a lot, and then I see them again because they're like, we need to follow up in a couple days. And I see them again and they're like, they want to make it work. And it literally was in a span of like 2 or 3 days. So this is very common, and usually it's repairable. The next one is that person, your avoidant partner or ex, is still highly reactive to you. Strong emotion reactions still indicate attachment. Any sort of annoyance, over explanations, defensiveness. Oh, defensiveness. If they're still defensive towards you, I'm not saying that you should take them back, but likely there's a lot of emotions there. Jealousy, intense sadness. Typically, if an avoidant is done with you, it's more like indifference, right? It's more, it usually is that they feel like there's nothing left. And that indifference is not going to be detached or flat. It's just that they feel like they've processed everything and they really feel like this decision is through. Like they feel like it's through and they feel like the relationship is over. And they're just, it doesn't mean they're not sad, but usually with indifference is that it seems like there's not any sort of prominent emotion, including detachment of emotions. They are able to feel all their emotions, but it's just not prominent anymore, right? Detachment is avoiding emotions. This is not avoiding emotions. If they're ready to break up with you, they are seeing all their emotions are on the table and they have went through all of them and they still feel like the relationship is over. That is when they're ready to leave you, like genuinely. If they're still reactive towards you, it's not actually over. The next one is something that I think is a very odd behavior, but if I didn't bring it up, this would just not be a genuine video because this is so common. They still are checking on your social media or keeping tabs of your social media, okay? They're watching your stories. They're liking older posts. They view your posts within minutes. They react to subtle things. They might have indirect reactions, which is really odd, but sometimes they're like liking your mom's pictures or they're staying in contact with your brother. And it's because they want to have access to you. Even if they're pretending like the breakup is final, it's very odd that people do this. Avoidants do this. Anxious people do this. People do this. And it's usually when they feel like the relationship is not over. And sometimes they might even like write something that's very obviously about you, right? They might post a song about you. They might write something that's very directly about you. Even if it's bitter, they might be like, oh, all women do is, make you angry and make you like want to leave them, or they're so frustrating it's hard to stay with them. Whatever it is, but it's obviously talking about you because maybe you guys broke up in an argument. Or they might say something like, men can't be trusted. You open your heart and he's going to crush you in like a million pieces. Whatever it is, right? And it's obviously about you, right? The next one is maybe you guys have decided to break up. So it's somewhat mutual. You're hurt about it. Maybe they think, it's the right thing to do. It's an emotional decision, whatever it is. And maybe they say, you know what, I don't think we should talk to each other. So they're the one that said, give me space. I need a couple weeks. And then like the very next day. And I feel like I'm laughing a little bit because I have like 2 patients that did this like a week ago, where it's like, they're like, you know what? I want to break up. I mean, this conversation was literally happening in session, individual session. And they're like, I want to break up. I'm done with it. And they're like, I know you're going to say I'm avoiding commitment, whatever it is, but I really feel like this is what I really want this time. And I say, okay, do what you got to do. And then a couple days later, they, another session, and they might say something like, well, yeah, I kind of started feeling lonely. So I did text her, and I kind of realized that maybe I made the decision too rash. I text her and I said that I miss her, and I'm kind of hoping that we can have our anniversary together, whatever it is. Right. And so this person, this example of the patient, right, he's the one that said, we don't need to talk. Let's break up. We shouldn't even talk anymore. I know this is right. I'm done. But then immediately goes back on what they said. Okay. If the breakup was final, they would not be feeling these fluctuating emotions. Okay. Sometimes they might even send you like a random meme. They might even say, do you still need anything? How have you been? This reminds me of you. This is because you're still on their mind. Okay. The next one is they bring up memories. This is pretty common. They might say it in a format of a joke, but sometimes they might bring up old trips that you guys went on. They might say something like, remember when we did this? Or remember when we went to that trip in France and we fought so much? I wish that we didn't fight. I wish we spent time enjoying, the city more, or whatever it is, right? They are bringing up, even if it's something that sounds negative, right? I remember when we went to Australia, all you did was fight, and it was so hard to get to the airport because you woke up late, right? It sounds negative, and it is negative, but they are mentioning a memory, right? They don't have to. They're clearly not over whatever happened in Australia with the airport or whatever. And it's because they still think about you. It's a waste of somebody's space if they really want to get over you to revisit these aspects within the relationship. Usually this is actually a pretty strong sign, okay? The next one is that they have not removed your presence from their life. They keep your photos. They leave posts up. They don't unfollow you. They still keep shared playlists. They still have you guys attached, Netflix or whatever it is, whatever you guys have together. They still have your things. It shows that they're not actually ready to close that particular chapter, if that makes sense, right? Because they, sometimes what they do is they remove it very, very quickly, and then they regret it, and then it might resurface again. But sometimes some of them hold on, so it depends. That one can be a little tricky. The next one is they ask mutual friends about you, or friends in general. This one is usually like a sign that they feel unsure about what they did, but usually they're trying to check on how you're feeling. Are you happy? Are you dating? Are you angry? Can you guys stay friends, which is going to slowly turn into a relationship again? They're trying to see if connection is possible, okay? The next one is actually they haven't moved on. And when I mean by that, I mean that they don't have anybody. They're not dating anybody. Some individuals, especially their fearful avoidance, they may date somebody immediately, but often that relationship, doesn't last. And it's usually because they're not putting their actual self in it. And the very last one is that they actually are working on the issues that you guys have had. This is common, so obviously I'm going to say this one first. They start going to therapy, right? And they want to work it out. They don't know what's wrong with them. They know they have a fear of commitment, but they don't know why, and they want to fix it, and their girlfriend dumped them or whoever it was, right? So that's why they started therapy, okay? It's an example. They might communicate more clearly. They might become emotionally responsive. Maybe you felt bad that they were in between 2 or 3 jobs, so now they have a career and they're working on it. They make lifestyle changes and they apologize, okay? Usually it's because they're preparing to get you back. So let's summarize. The first one is the connection ended emotionally. The third one is they're still reactive. The second one is they're reactive. The third one is they keep checking your social media. Fourth one is that they said something, we shouldn't contact each other, and they broke that rule that they made. The next one is they bring up memories. They haven't fully removed you from anything, or they removed you too quickly. They ask friends about you. They haven't moved on physically and emotionally, or they jumped into a relationship very quickly, but it's not doing so well, unfortunately. And the last one is they're working on themselves. I hope this video was helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.